Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to welcome you to our next class for the Granite Family History Center. And tonight, it's our pleasure to have Mr. Bob Taylor, the brains behind the Family History Guide, co-founder and director of development for the guide. He will be presenting to us tonight on doing research using the Family History Guide. So without any further ado, we're going to turn the time over to Bob Taylor. Bob.
Okay, thanks and welcome everyone. Research with the Family History Guide, that's the topic this evening. And the Family History Guide, you can see the website here. It's free and you don't need an account or anything. You can just log on to thefhguide.com to get started. So this evening, we're going to focus on some of the ways that the Family History Guide website can help you with your family history research. So I'm going to use this PowerPoint slide to guide me through a few items here. So here are the things that we're going to cover this evening. And I did a similar presentation in Tyler, Texas a couple of weeks ago for the East Texas Genealogical Society on research with the Family History Guide. So this will be somewhat similar. So we're going to cover this evening the research intro. We have a special page in the Family History Guide that kind of gives you an overhead aerial view, as it were, of resources for research that are available in the Family History Guide. And then talking about how we locate and use sources in research. Second, ways that you can use memories such as photographs, documents, and stories for research. Number three, getting a solid foundation with research basics. Number four, some research tools you can use. Some of these are platform specific, like Family Search or Ancestry specific, and others are usable across whatever platform that you're on. Five, we're going to explore the country pages in the Family History Guide and give you some insights on using those, perhaps in a different way that you're used to. Six, United States research. Seven, US states and counties. Eight, researching in England counties and Canada provinces. Number nine, DNA research. And number 10, getting help with whatever phase of research you might be in. Okay, so first of all, let's take a look at the intro to research. This is in the countries menu, and then we'll follow that up with how to use and locate sources for your genealogical research. All right, so we're going to go over here to the countries menu. And the very first item we have here at the top says Intro to Research. So you can use this page as kind of a get started area, but you can also find all of the components in different menu spots in the Family History Guide. And by way of review, you can simply mouse over the top menus and get to pretty much any location you need to in the Family History Guide using those menus there. Okay, so first of all, there is an introductory video here, Research of the Family History Guide, and then we have some links to basically Project 4 in Family Search, Ancestry, MyHeritage, or Find My Past. And this Project 4 is pretty much similar depending on which of these learning paths you want to take across the top. You can see them as I drop down here: Discover, Research, Research, and Research. Only thing is that if you use the Ancestry path, you're going to find some research tools that are specific to Ancestry, not so much the Family Search specific tools. That's the difference there. And we also have some DNA screens there that you can explore, and some links to country pages, knowledge bases, ethnic research. So that's basically the overview there. So I'm going to take you not so much through this screen, but through the menu options at the top to help you get to all of these different places that you can access in the Family History Guide. So with that said, we're going to hop over to sources. In Family Search, for example, project number 1, these are all projects here. Project 1 is Family Tree. And you have the goals, or medium-sized boxes of information, so to speak, across the top. We're going to take a brief look at goal number 8, adding sources, because this is one of the key things that we want to be able to do as we start doing our research in family history. So I'll click on that. And we have this choice A here, learn about sourcing and why it's important. So I would recommend taking some time and reading through some of these videos and watching some of the, or reading through some of the articles and watching some of these videos to give you a good basis in the importance of source documents. Here's another excellent section here, the genealogical proof standard. I particularly like this one here, an overview of the genealogical proof standard and a handy flow chart of the processes that it uses. So you can open this up and get a kind of an overhead map, and it starts talking about research questions and how do you solve those questions and how do you use evidence and so forth and sources in all melding this information together. So I can close that because it opens in a different tab window there. So what we've done in the Family History Guide basically is we've assembled kind of best of the best industry leading articles and videos so that you don't have to spend time reinventing the wheel, so to speak. Okay, so choice B walks you through how to browse existing sources in Family Search Family Tree using detail view, viewing the web pages, source details. I'm scrolling down here, and this section, choice C, gives you step-by-step instructions for adding, editing, tagging, or detaching sources for any particular ancestor in your line. So these are good to review as kind of a how-to to get the sources that you need. Remember that we want to build a solid foundation for our research, and one way to do that is to attach sources for the people in our tree so that other people know what basis of information we're using. And it's also helpful to us as a reminder so that we don't forget what we have already established, and those notes can be, shared or visible by many people. Okay, so that's a brief look at sources. There's lots more information here. It drills down into looking at the different attached historical records in Family Tree and the types of information that you can find there. Okay, let's go back here, and we're going to go to the next slide. So that was number 1, the intro overview page to resource plus sources in goal 8 of project 1, Family Search. Next up, we have using memories for research. So we're going to hop over to project number 2, memories. In Family Search, Family Tree, we're going to go to project 2, memories, and talk about a few of these items here. The first goal, gather your records. This is one of the important places to start, and it's often overlooked because we're so focused sometimes on thinking about records from ancestors that we forget to really go through with a fine-tooth comb whatever records we might have in our homes or in our possession, or perhaps our close relatives and family members may have, including your birth certificates, religious records, marriage certificates, legal documents, etc. So that's a good place to start. And sometimes you can find clues as you go back over your home records and your own personal records that you maybe missed the first or second time going through there. I'm going to do a closed choices. Wherever you see this closed choices button up top, that's a handy one to click because it hides all of the intervening text, and now you can see just the titles of the choices. So this particular goal also talks about gathering photos and documents you have of your ancestors, making scans, backups, digital copies, restoring damaged photographs, all that type of thing. Okay, we're going to go now over to gather records from others. So once you have a bead on what types of records are in your possession, you want to branch out and start pinging family members, whether you email them or call them, text them, however you communicate with them, who those people may have photos or documents that would be of interest to you. And likewise, you may have photos and documents that you may want to share with them. And a good place to check there is in Family Search Memories, for example. Here, if you're wondering who that woman is right there, that's my mom. So this is a long ago primary class that she taught in Southern California. So this has some links to articles for gathering family information, adding photos and documents. Before my mom passed away, she gave me a huge box of photographs and documents, figuring that I was probably the most likely to do something with them in the family. And I was amazed, a lot of those I had not seen before. And what I ended up doing was just having giant scanning sessions where I scanned many, many photos and documents. And then I made some CDs and copies for family and friends, but it soon occurred to me that I really needed to get these up onto Family Search Memories. And when I did that, people literally started coming out of the woodwork and messaging me and saying, "Oh, do you have this photo? I see that you have that photo. And did you know that my father knew your father?" Or, you know, all of these different tidbits of information and connections. And it really opened up a lot of interesting information that I was not aware of or that I had forgotten about. So getting things up to Family Search Memories can be a great catalyst for helping your immediate family history research as well. Okay, let's do a closed choices again here. And it's just these two: contact your living relatives and then add photos, documents. All right, let's go up to goal number 3, interview relatives. This is perhaps one of the most overlooked activities, is interviewing our senior ancestors or family relatives about their lives, because when they pass on, it's awfully hard to capture that information. So this particular choice has links to articles and videos with some sample questions that you can ask. For instance, here's 50 questions you can ask your relatives, extended family. And there are actually many sets of questions here, but beyond the questions themselves, there are documents that handle strategies. So how do you handle perhaps delicate situations? How do you plan ahead for an interview? How do you conduct the interview and make sure that it's recorded and the information is captured the best it can be? So there are some tips there as well. Okay, so those are the basics there. And then you can browse memories, and here are some extra tips for uploading and adding stories, documents, photos, and etc. to Family Search Memories, all of the how-tos. Sometimes it's easy to forget the exact steps if you're not in the habit of doing that very often. So these have the step-by-step instructions for you. Okay, so that was gather your records, gather records from others, and interview family members and others about their lives. Amazing the types of information you can gather from those interviews if you conduct them thoughtfully and well. And some things that you remember may not be the same as someone else remembers them. And so it's good to have two non-intersecting points of view, as it were, to broaden the picture of what went on. Research basics. All right, let's hop over to project number 4, Discover, and let's take a look at these 3 goals here. So in Family Search, go to project 4, Discover. Goal number 1 is get organized for research. Let's do a closed choices here. And here are the choices that we have. First of all, organize materials, and then create and use to-do lists. Use notes, logs, and software to stay organized. Keep track of your correspondence. In the old days, it used to be simply writing letters to people, and now we have many more ways to correspond with people who may be doing common research with us or related research. And then there's a variety of pre-printed charts that can help us. And wherever we have these extra tools, we try to point people to free resources. So we don't want you to go off and see something interesting and then have a pop-up come up that says, okay, that will be $29.95. We want free resources to be used as much as possible. Okay, so let's expand these out a bit. Organize your materials. It talks about research binders, ways that you can collect information, organize your genealogical files, whether that's paper or digital. Let's go down to to-do lists, and Family Search has basically a to-do list available on your homepage, but there are other ways that you can keep track of your genealogy research from a to-do list point of view. And extra resources. Sometimes you have the step-by-step instructions here, and sometimes you have links to additional resource articles. So those are good to explore to get different perspectives. And these videos here are also very helpful. Whenever you see an eye icon here, that's informational. So if I click the eye for this particular ancestry video, watch what happens. You've got these extra subpoints, and what these are points inside the video that align with the particular topic. So if I wanted to immediately check out this Create a Family Timeline, I would click that link, and then I could go to that particular point. So that's a good way to get right inside a video and to look at and investigate the topic that you're interested in. At the very least, clicking the eye helps you see the internal topic, so you can see if there really is something that would interest you there, or maybe you're not looking at the video you want, that type of thing. Okay, and then notes, logs, and software. A good thing to do and to think about here is getting used to the concept of research logs to track your progress. As you get into research logs, so important to be able to organize what you've been doing, to lay it out. Here's a good Family Search article about research logs from the Family Search Wiki. It's got some examples. They've got some free handouts. This goes in pretty good depth and dives into different aspects of research logs that will help you as you do your ongoing research. So yay for Family Search on the Wiki. And all sorts of videos here from Genealogy TV, from BYU Family History Library, and other resources. All right, let's proceed on to the second goal here, learn the basics of research. So once you're organized, you've got your papers, files, whatever you've already done organized, you'll want to start using tried and true proven methods of research. And fortunately, you don't have to figure those out from scratch or spend your time trial and error figuring out, okay, should I try this? Should I try that? Let's do closed choices here. So learn basic concepts, identify a line, and form questions. Let's take a look at the first one. So first of all, we want to understand the basic research process. Here are 5 steps here that we can go over. Basic research principles. And here are some videos, one shorter and one longer. You notice the videos have timing indicators here, so you can tell how long the video is. So this gives you a nice, concise start with some extra resources here. Especially helpful might be a glossary of genealogy terms, so that you're on the same page with what people are talking about in different documents. And here's a more expanded list there. So learning the basics, very important. All right, identify a line to begin researching. It's not really just as simple as throwing a dart at your family tree and going, okay, this line looks like it needs a lot of help, so I'll start there. Certain lines may yield better results depending on where the end of line ancestor is. So you'll want to read through these tips here that suggest some ways that you can identify a good and perhaps productive ancestor to start doing research about. And here's some additional articles that can give you tips on doing that. And then one of the most important things is to be able to form questions about each selected ancestor that are going to drive the research you have for that ancestor. It's not enough to say, well, I want to find out when his ancestors were born. Asking more targeted questions will help you get into the details and perhaps find records even faster. For example, what are you most interested in? For example, why did they move? Are there missing children? Are there gaps in the family chronology? Lots of different angles as you get into records, whether they're census records or vital records, that can spur questions in your mind that you need to start asking. Once you latch onto these questions, they can propel you forward with your research rather than basically randomly, okay, let's see if I can find some records here or there or whatever. And here's an excellent video from Ancestry.com about asking genealogical questions that matter and that produce results. And then you can fit the questions into your research plan, which is an added bonus as well. Okay, and form a strategy. Here's a brief video about genealogical strategies. We've already kind of knocked on the door of strategies a bit when we've been talking about learning the basics and asking questions. But then we also want to start talking about the goals for our research and sub-goals and refining them into specific things we want to find out. Here's an excellent acronym, WANDER, explained by Amy Johnson Crow, that she describes the process that she likes to use to break down the essentials of what she's going to go after in her research. Time-saving tips, when to guess, when not to guess, how to find the records that you need. Lots of great tips there. As we go across the top, some of these goals are going to say FS and some of them not. So when you see a goal that says FS, for example, that means that these particular tools are specific to Family Search, whereas the rest of them are going to be shared across Ancestry, MyHeritage, Find My Past, and Family Search. Let's take a look at these research tools for Family Search. All right, I'll do a closed choices here. And we've got using Family Search genealogies, using the Family Search catalog, online books, historical images, Family Search wiki, and surname lists. So lots of great information there. You can click any one of them and get step-by-step instructions, as well as extra resources, articles, or videos to help you learn more about those particular things. And we're kind of zipping through some of these, so obviously you'd want to take some time to go back and look at the particulars of things that interest you. Develop search skills. Okay, quickly, this is more generic to whatever platform you're working with. Here's an introductory video that talks about strategies for your online searches. And let's do a closed choices. General search techniques, using Google as a search tool and using different name variations and techniques to get better results. So you can spend some time looking through these as well. Number 7, solve problems. This is a great one, especially if you've been doing research for a while and you're running up into some issues and questions, which invariably will happen and should happen, because sometimes genealogy and tracking history, geography, location, timing, and everything produces more questions than answers. And so it's good to be able to reconcile the evidence and pull things together. First of all, you'll want to avoid some common mistakes in doing research. So this is a good choice to review to make sure that you're not going down one of those roads that are very easy to go down when you're first starting your research, such as collecting names, skipping generations, avoiding siblings instead of looking for the whole families, so forth. Let's do a closed choices here and see what we have. Potential problems with terms and records. Yes, some records do have problems with them. Some even have some inaccuracies, or perhaps the indexes have inaccuracies. Using evidence to resolve conflicting information. So important to be able to untangle some of the messes or the problems that happen, so that you don't spend time perhaps going off on the wrong tree. This has happened to me back in my research days. I remember going off on a wrong branch and then realizing it later on, and oh, well, I did research for somebody else, which I guess is good, but it didn't help my own research a whole lot because I was researching a person who actually was not related to me. So that may happen to you as well. Okay, the other choices here. Tools and techniques, creative approaches to solve problems in non-typical ways. Know what alternatives you can try. This is like breaking through the brick walls in your genealogy. So when you get stuck, here are some great tips to pursue and to try to get around challenging situations and roadblocks in your own genealogical research. And lots of these have really helpful case studies as well to help you find out from the minds of great researchers what are the techniques and things that they would try, or how is their thought process working when they tackle tough genealogical problems. All right, so that takes us through the research basics. Okay, let's go on to number 4, research tools. And actually we cover this one, the general and partner specific ones. I'll just mention very quickly, if I went down to Ancestry, for example, and went to project number 4, research, then I could look at some of these AN ones, like how do I analyze my search results for Ancestry? And you get step-by-step procedures, processes, and links to other articles and videos, helping you get better results from the searches that you're doing in Ancestry.com. Next to cover in research tools are knowledge bases and ethnic research. So let's take a look over here in the countries menu. I'm going to go down. Before we do the countries, I'm going to do the general knowledge base. Okay, so this is over here in any of these learning paths. You're going to have a link to knowledge base here. So I go to open up the knowledge base, and the knowledge base, I like to compare it to kind of like a snack pantry. There's all of these nuggets of information that you can kind of bite off. They're in bullet lists. So if I wanted to, learn about brick walls in research, here are some bite-sized bullet points that you could read and absorb in your free time. And there's links to the articles that they came from. What is cluster research? Okay, here's some excellent information there as well, just a piece at a time. And you can go through any of these topics up here, for instance, church records, different denominations and so forth. So this is like a whole mini library of facts and information that you can use to expand your knowledge about a particular set of records or a particular type of research that may be interesting or important to you. So that is knowledge base in any one of these learning paths. There's also the ethnic under countries, almost at the bottom, there's ethnic research here. So when I click that, then I get a list of all of these different types of ethnic groups. And if I click African American, for example, then you have your goals across the top. Get started with African American research, how to find record sources, slavery resources, so forth. Lots of helpful information there. And also in the countries menu near the bottom is the countries knowledge base. And there we have a knowledge base that's somewhat similar to what you saw just a minute ago, except this is oriented towards different countries. So if I click Canada, then I can go to immigration here or church records or whatever I'm interested in and open up these particular links. And here you have all the bite-sized information. So if you're doing research in a particular country that may not be that familiar to you, the country's knowledge base is really helpful to get you oriented to the types of records you're going to want to look at, the customs, the history, the culture, all of those things that can prove important to getting a grasp in doing research in that particular area. If I click the particular name, it takes me to the country page there. And if I click about, then you get a shortcut and a reference to Wikipedia for a history and geography of that particular country. Okay, that wraps up our research tools. Country pages. All right, let's explore the country pages. So there's 3 ways to go about that. You can use the menu for regions, you can use the all countries page, and you can use the more countries link. So let's go over here and take a look at all 3 of those. Countries. So here in the different regions I can click a region like British Isles and it opens up with these country possibilities. I could go to Ireland. And here you have the Ireland country page with links to articles and videos. And across the top are the goals with different topics that you can explore, such as immigration, civil registration, many different topics there. Okay, an alternate way to find information in the countries menu is to go to the all countries page. So this across the top is a listing of major countries. In other words, countries that tend to have more information because there are more records and more history and more sources available for them. I could go back to Ireland, or I could even go to Denmark, for example. Here's your goals across the top and so forth. And then what if you're on the all countries page and you don't see a country that you're interested in here? You can go down here to more countries, click that link, and then you get a very long list alphabetically of the smaller countries. And that means countries that do not tend to have as many records available as the other countries. So if I were interested in genealogy in Aruba, for example, I could click that and I could get some links there. Bahamas, obviously more limited information, but you do have something that you can work with if you're doing genealogy research in those smaller countries. All right. So that's 3 ways to explore the different country pages. What we're going to do next is take a look at United States research, because this is one of, well, it is the biggest section in the Family History Guide in terms of countries and records. So we're going to take a look at 3 of the areas there. And we're not going to cover everything, but I'll just give you some samples and pieces there. So countries, United States. And you can see we have quite a few more goals here across the top. They're divided up into categories. We have records, vital records, census, immigration, military, other records. So I'm just going to hit a couple of these. For example, census by decades. This is C2. And here, if I do a closed choices, you'll see that we have choices that explore each decade of the US Census. So if I wanted to learn more about the 1930 census, we have articles, videos, and you even have tools here. You have census headings, like what were the different headings that appeared in each of the censuses by decades, and what types of questions were asked in each of these. So you have links to all of those things as well. And let's hop over here to, but before we do that, the Goldie May Research Assistant. This is very handy for anyone who is using Family Search or Ancestry and using US Census records. So in the Family History Guide, we actually have a help system for Goldie May. Goldie May is a free Chrome extension, and I have it up here in the upper right, and I can click that, and basically it opens up a panel and it takes me into my Family Search sign-in, and then it starts asking me a bunch of questions that I may want to consider about census records and my Family Search ancestors and their records. And so it prompts me, have you considered looking at this? Or what about this and that? So you can go through these questions and try to answer them, and it will guide you, kind of an artificial intelligence approach to using the US Census with Family Search. I would highly recommend that, and that's free. You can download that. The help screen there helps you download, install the extension, and use it. Okay, so another one is military by conflict. And we've got, by closed choices, Revolutionary War, Civil War, World War I and II, all of these different things with lots of great resources, articles and videos to help you do more effective research in Civil War records, for example. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Other records, yeah, We won't cover all of these, but there's a wealth of things from religious church records, property, court, newspapers, archives and libraries, vital records, you name it. Anything you need to learn about, go for it, and you can find a lot of information there. Okay, states and counties. Let's talk about US state pages and US counties. So we're going to go back. Okay, we're at the United States page. If I scroll up here, here's the picture of the Statue of Liberty. Right underneath that, we have an alphabetical list of the 50 states plus Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico. So if I click on a particular state, then I get the familiar goals and choices and so forth. And you can see the goals across the top. Now, something that we haven't talked about yet are these lightning bolts. And these lightning bolts signify quick links. So I'm going to click on this particular goal, which has some quick links. All right, I go there and I scroll down a bit and you'll see this quick link section here. A quick link basically is a link that takes you directly to a record collection search screen. So if I click this FS Family Search California Birth Index, what happens is I go directly to that search screen in Family Search. You'll notice that I didn't have to wend my way through Family Search trying to find out the different screens or paths to get there. One click and I was there ready to search for whatever names I'm interested in. And the reason we've done that is because when you've been learning particular things about doing searches or a certain type of record, that's the time that you want to go out and give it a try. And so we've made it very easy to search the collections you want to by putting the quick links right next to the educational material for it. AC, Ancestry.com, so births and christenings from selected counties, you could click that and go to the Ancestry.com search screen for that as well. And that should be coming up. Here you go, there as well. Okay, so those are quick links, and quick links, of course, are available not only for US states, but for any country. So for example, if you were researching in Ireland and you saw a quick link up here, civil registration, and you scroll down quite a ways and you see, well, this is a really long list: Family Search, Ancestry, Find My Past, and so forth. Lots of great record collections and links there. Okay, we're going to go back to United States because I wanted to show you county records. We're going to go back to California, and just down a little ways here, you'll see the CA counties. So I'm going to click that. That takes me to the bottom of the page. And here I have a list of all the different counties in California. And the name of the county signifies a family search link. And then you have Ancestry, Linkpendium, Genealogy Inc., US GenWeb, and if they have a Facebook page, that's listed there as well. So here's the Ventura County family search page with its information. And I don't know how many of you are familiar with Linkpendium, but I really like this site. Very detailed, comprehensive. So I could click that link and start scrolling down and scrolling, and I haven't even gotten to the letter M yet. There's a lot of information there just for that one county. And that's multiplied across all the counties of each state in the United States. You have 4 or 5 different entry points, depending on the type of web interface or collection pages you want to use for that county. So good information and good resources for county research there. Okay, England and Canada. Let's move over to the England page. And kind of similar to the United States, underneath the picture, you've got an alphabetical list of English counties. So I have some ancestry that comes from Devon. I could click Devon here, and you've got your goals across the top, and these items have quick links here, vital and census records. So you could check out Devon baptisms, bonds, marriages, burials, whatever you're interested in, as well as some articles and links. There's lots of links in the Family History Guide, not only to articles and videos, but to databases. So whenever you see something that just says explore such and such, that's going to be a link to a free website or database that typically has some great information. So remember not to overlook those. Remember to look for these databases and links scattered throughout the Family History Guide. That can be some really key places where you can pick up records for free or information, tips. There's a lot of great resources out there. So we have the English counties. Also, we have in Canada, the Canadian provinces. Right under the picture here, I could go to Ontario, for example, and here's your goals across the top. So I could go to any one of those church and cemetery records in Ontario, and you're off and running. All right. So that takes us through number 8. Number 9, DNA projects. Okay, so in the Family History Guide, first of all, in Family Search, there is a DNA project. Now you may be thinking, yes, but Family Search does not have a DNA kit. Okay, so why we have a DNA project here is this is the basic generic information, things that can help you understand the basics of genealogy or genetic genealogy, the benefits of testing and that type of thing. So if I go across the goals at the top here, you're learning about tests, the basics of what DNA matching is, tools, adoption, so forth, from a generic point of view. Now, if you've actually taken a test, for example, an Ancestry DNA test, then it might be more helpful to go to the Ancestry learning path and go to the DNA project there. And when I click that, you've got these shared goals that are the same. These two are the same as in Family Search, but then you have the AN versions, which are specific to Ancestry. So DNA matching, if I click that and open it up, now you've got step-by-step instructions on how to handle the test results that you got from Ancestry in terms of your ethnicity, DNA results, how to conduct matching exercises for other people who have taken DNA tests through Ancestry and may have some cousin match information for you, how to sort through all of those test results, so forth. So these AN, or if I were in MyHeritage and I went to their DNA, they would have some matching and research tool type things that are specific to MyHeritage. Okay. Beyond that, there are also some tools that are good for anybody to know about, regardless of what platform of test you've chosen. So, for example, adoption and DNA. Here are some guidelines and tools and tips for adoption in your family tree and DNA. And here are some help with questions using Facebook pages, blog sites, and so forth, message boards, forums. There's lots of ways you can get help with your DNA questions and answers there as well. And while we're on this idea of help with questions, if we go back to the countries, just about every particular country, I'm going to pick Norway here. One of the final goals near the end is get help. So if you click that particular goal, you're going to find resources for Facebook pages, mailing lists, message boards, genealogical societies that can help you get in touch with people who are also interested in doing Norwegian genealogy in this case, and would possibly be interested in helping you or working with you, collaborating on whatever topic that you're interested in finding out about. So remember, we have those get help goals for each of the US states and for all of the different countries throughout. And we just kind of jumped the gun there. So there's our help project, help for all of the goals and states. Let's look at the general help. If you go to Family Search Project 6 and go to help, then you've got topics like how do I get help from Family Search, for example? How do I take advantage of what genealogical societies can offer me? How do I collaborate with other people on their family history work. Here's some tips from Roots Tech and from Ancestry videos. How do I help another person publish a family history? That type of thing. Okay, so we've completed those. And one thing that I didn't mention in the 10 items was there is another category called descendancy research. So if you go to Family Search, for example, project number 3, descendants, you're going to find goals of identifying lines, how to add sources, how to use Pozilla, Relative Finder, and so forth to do descendancy research, which involves locating an ancestor that you can branch back down from and do cousin, aunt, uncle, sibling research to start filling out your family tree. So that is a quick look at Research with the Family History Guide. I'm sure there's some things that I didn't delve into specifically that you'll probably discover on the site, but this is a good overview of the research tools that are available to you with the Family History Guide. So at this point, I'll turn it over to any questions that we might have.
Well, you must have been really thorough.
Questions or comments?
I might mention too, Bob, that there is no way to break the Family History Guide. You can go in and just explore to your heart's content what's in the guide. You're not expected to and Bob always uses an analogy that the Family History Guide basically is the card catalog to the library. The library has millions and millions of volumes in it, and you can use the Family History Guide as the librarian to help you find your way to whatever it is the topic. And there are lots of ways to find your way in the Family History Guide as well. So,
okay. Since we have a couple minutes, there are 2 small items that I would like to cover. So we're going to go back into the mainstream, but we'll make this really brief. First of all, the vault, you should know about that. And the main page here, if I click the vault, these are the secondary articles and videos. So you could pick research, how to cite sources. And you've got tons of videos and articles, how to deal with analyzing data. So if you want to do deep dives in any aspect of research, the vault is your friend. Definitely spend some time there. Also, we have an online tracker that you can use, and it does require an account. It's free. And then you can log in with your account there and get any particular project in the Family History Guide. Once you're in it, you can start typing notes. I've just typed some dummy notes here. You can move slider bars to let yourself know if you have or have not started a particular choice, or if you're good or proficient at it. So this is a secure database that houses or records all of the information you want to put in about what you're learning in the Family History Guide. Okay, those are the 2 things I wanted to make sure to cover.
Perfect. There's a couple other things that would help people too. Just pick a project in Family Search, like Project 1, for example. And you can see just under the list of the goals there, you see Show Me Goal 1, and you see another little thing that says Print.
Okay, yeah, I'll show those really quickly. The Show Me basically is a video that gives an animated sequence of where you would use the mouse. So if I start it up and I'm going to move into the video a while, and you can see that the hand starts moving all over the place. So the idea there is that it gives you a visual reference for how you would be moving your mouse and cursor to get to menus and to do the types of things you want to do. You can even do split screen between Family History Guide and Family Search to watch them, back and forth. Print, we don't have a printed version of the Family History Guide. It would be humongous, but you can selectively print things by clicking the print button, and then you see all of this information. What if you don't want graphics? You just click on the graphic and it hides it. And you can click on anything you want to and hide it. And if, oops, you hid too many things, and you can undo until they all come back and print PDF or paper or whatever you want to do there. So that's pretty handy. That's on any particular header. You've got the print button there.
Perfect. We've got, I keep thinking of things.
We'll be here all week.
I know. Go to the course catalog and then I'll shut up.
Trainer's menu. Okay, we didn't cover that, but we do have a course catalog that lists different courses that you can basically pretty much put together in training the Family History Guide. The idea being that you can teach classes right from the Family History Guide website without having to prepare a bunch of PowerPoint slides and handouts yourself. The website is kept up to date, so you don't have to do the overhead. You can just teach and have fun with it.
Right. There's just so much information in here. And, you know, we encourage you to just go into the guide and just start moving around and exploring. And if you have a specific topic, just go over that little, what do you call that thing? Spyglass, hourglass. What do you call that thing? Anyway, just go over there and click on it and then type in what you're looking for, and it'll take you right directly to that topic in the Family History Guide.
Right. You were talking about the magnifying glass for, yeah, you could type in a topic. It does a search inside the Family History Guide. Hey, Janet, thanks for your comment. Never ceases to amaze me what a powerful tool the Family History Guide is. Thanks for your fresh, and nice to see you, Bob. Nice to see you too, Janet.
I love the Family History Guide. It was so great for the refresh.
That is so cool to hear. Thank you, Janet, for the amazing work that you have done and continue to do. And President Castleton, you're amazed at what the Family History Guide can do, and we are amazed at everything that you can do for the Family History Center. Thank you for all you do to make our work easier. Yeah, I'm happy to do it. And I'm doing that out here in Newport, Oregon. For those of you who don't know, I just got called to be the director of the Little Family History Center we have here in Newport, Oregon. So I am going to be channeling Dave Castleton, I suppose, and Janet Helland.
That's a thing. Do you wear?
It's a thing.
Yeah, that's good. Do you take your surfboard and your flip flops there? Okay, we won't go.
No.
But we sincerely want to thank Bob for doing this class for us tonight. And just to remind everyone that this and all of the other classes we have are available 24/7 at the Granite Family History Center's website, which is www.granitefhc.com. You go on the website and you'll find the link to the classes, and the classes are recorded. It takes us a few days to get them up there, but they are recorded, and then you can go and view this class and classes we've had in the past at your leisure, and you can do them over and over again. So thank you all very much for your attendance, and we'll see you all again. Good night.
Good night.